We're going to talk about ARGs, puzzle trails, and unfiction. Just show of hands, who knows what like an ARG is? All right, a good chunk of you. Excellent. It'd be great if there was just like, no, I just saw letters and I wanted to be here. So we're going to break this down and talk about my favorite medium of content. So let's start with what is an ARG. An ARG is an alternate reality game. Basically, this is a story that your input, the audience, can affect the outcome. That's the big thing, is that it takes place not in our reality, but in alternate reality. So basically, when playing these games, the idea is everything that is happening is real, just not in our reality. So that's like, it's a way of like kind of creating stakes in the universe. Kind of think Dungeons and Dragons. If a DM sat down without any players and tried to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons, it would probably suck. Maybe, but you know, basically without the audience, there's no story. So it's kind of similar in that way. What is a puzzle trail? A puzzle trail is a series of puzzles. Solving one puzzle leads to another. You're often trying to reach the next web page. So basically, you're presented with a website. You are told that there is a solution. Figure out how to get there. There's often no story. Sometimes they kind of have a story in, but it's not important to have a story when you're making a puzzle trail. Kind of think of like an escape the room. Like, the way I always try to explain a puzzle trail is you're in an escape the room. However, you know those stickers they put on an escape the room where it's like, this is not a clue? There are none of those. And the room is the entire internet. Good luck. And then what is unfiction? So fiction describes imaginary people and imaginary events. Nonfiction describes real events and real people. Unfiction describes imaginary events and people as if they are real. So they've taken something that is fictional and made it real. It's unfiction. Unfiction is not affected by the audience. It's more of a passive experience. You can kind of sit back and just watch an unfiction piece, and it doesn't require people doing things. Kind of think of pro wrestling or found footage. That's the best way that I kind of can make parallels. Because in like professional wrestling, there are those moments where someone is in a headlock and they do this, and they're asking everybody to clap along to will them back to their feet. It is creating the illusion that you are helping this person battle back. If nobody clapped, chances are the same person would still win. It's not like Tinkerbell being brought back to life. So why is it important that we know the difference between these three things? It's not. The thing about these three terms is that they're used interchangeably very often. It's just for the sake of this panel, I wanted to be able to, you know, say things and have you guys have a basics of what I mean when talking about these things. But people misuse these terms all the time. Like MatPat, for example. MatPat has no idea what any of these words mean. Because MatPat was like, I'm releasing merch, and the merch is an ARG. It's like, is it really? Like, I understand we kind of had to work as a team to solve it, but I don't know if that's an ARG. And then he was like, oh, I created the Theorist Gateway. It's an ARG. And no, it's a puzzle trail. You're trying to move from web page to web page. That's not an ARG. And then MatPat was like, I'll release this jacket, and this jacket's an ARG. No, it's a jacket. That's what a jacket is. That being said, I immediately bought that jacket and solved it on stream. Also, my hair used to be really long. So, in this panel, I'd like to play a little game with you guys. Keep track of the character that appears in the upper right-hand corner. All right? They will appear throughout this presentation, but they won't be on every slide. When you have all the names of all the characters, you will use that information to solve a secret message. Ooh. A prize will be given to the lucky decoder. What's the prize? I don't know. I sent Laura to the dealer's room. She'll come back with something. All right, so let's talk about early ARGs. So the first mainstream ARGs were creative marketing. They were always existing to also sell you something. This is why they were able to do things with a budget, is because they were also sponsored by something. The first one that people kind of say is the first one is The Beast, which was to promote the film AI, Artificial Intelligence. Does anyone remember AI, Artificial Intelligence? That's way too many hands. It is one of my least favorite movies of all time. I hate that film. But it had a cool little ARG with it where you got to learn more about the company making the robots and stuff like that. I Love Bees was a famous ARG that promoted Halo 2. Why So Serious promoted the Dark Knight film. Last Call Poker promoted a game called Gun. Does anyone remember Gun?
Yes.
A couple of you, all right. It was pretty neat. Last Call Poker was a poker website that while you were playing poker, these kind of NPCs would jump on and play poker with you and reveal bits of the plot that was going on, which was a search for this actual gun. And it was locked, I believe it was locked in a safe, and the combination to the safe was in the game. Yeah, it was pretty neat. And when I signed up for the website, you had to put in your email address and your phone number, and then I forgot about it. And then one day I had a voicemail of a man being shot in the face. I was like, oh ho! Yeah, ARGs are fun. So very little footage exists for most of these because they're more of experiences than videos. It wasn't like it is more today where there's all these videos that go along with the story on YouTube. It is more of just going to this website that no longer exists and having actual interactions with people. To try to explain it, G4 made a little video about I Love Bees, so I'll show that to you now.
Started in mid-July when a mysterious package was sent out, a jar of honey containing 9 letters that were arranged.
Oh no, it's I'm sorry, this is playing through the projector.
Theatrical trailer for the upcoming Halo 2.
Tech.
The pieces fell into place. At the end of the trailer, a quick flash of ilovebees.com sent Xbox fans searching for their PCs. At first glance, the website appeared to be nothing more than an amateur beekeeper's website that had been hacked. But a closer look only resulted in more confusion. What exactly was going to happen in the counter hero? Early in the morning on August 24th, ilovebees.com has just updated with a list of over 200 sites. They gave GPS, longitude, and latitude, and now it's up to us to get to one of these sites to answer what is apparently going to be a payphone, give it a code word and a nickname, and all of a sudden that will unlock an axon. Once all these axons are activated online, it unlocks a hidden message. So far it's been WAV files with gibberish or background story, we think, for Halo 2.
Yeah, I got the password. It's coming.
I'm gonna cut that off, Eric. Did you guys hear that or no? A little bit? Okay. I got a lot of this. Should you guys want me to try to fix it for the future? Tech! Help! We've been abandoned.
We've been forsaken.
That's what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna have to do this. Don't read ahead. Don't make fun of my thing.
Why are you like this? My comedy's here.
Speakers.
So you can't organize your desktop?
That is correct.
It's because he's spending all of his time on the puzzle.
On the puzzle. Yeah, for those of you who don't know while I'm fixing this, I do stream ARGs on my my Twitch channel. So if you ever want to play ARGs with me, it's +2 comedy. Yeah, I like to live my life in chaos and puzzles.
It all started in mid-July when a mysterious package was sent out.
You saw most of that video, it's fine. Why So Serious was the one for the Dark Knight that actually went wrong. Basically, they had a dead drop. A dead drop is when a physical item is actually going to exist and needs to be picked up. People figured out that across the nation there was going to be these dead drops in bowling alleys, based off of like clues. And the actual location was supposed to be revealed over time, but once people realized it was bowling alleys and had rough ideas of where it's supposed to be, people were camping out outside of bowling alleys waiting for the reveal so that they could get this item, which I believe was a cell phone. One of the bowling alley employees found out about this, stole the package, and attempted to sell it online for $50,000, or he was going to smash it with a hammer.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things. So luckily things, you know, it wasn't a major event that like ruined the game, since there were so many drops that people were still able to like continue the game. But people are jerks. Ben Drowned, also known as Haunted Majora's Mask. This tells the story of an evil N64 cartridge. It was believed to just be a creepypasta, but then a video was provided. So this is from Ben Drowned. Oh yeah.
Watch out!
So basically, the story of this was he had bought a version of Majora's Mask at a yard sale. There was already a save on it, and there was basically a spirit locked inside of the game, and he would play it in an attempt to kind of like help quell this spirit. And because there was actual footage, some people actually bleeped it. While most of us can see it's unfiction, a lot of people would argue that this is not an ARG because it was a very passive experience. But the final step of this required us as the audience to actually download a video, and that allowed Ben to escape into the internet, and that's what started Chapter 2 of Ben Drowned. Do you guys remember Chapter 2 of Ben Drowned? Yeah, here's a bit of Chapter 2 for Ben Drowned. So that didn't feel the same way that Chapter 1 felt, right? So game jacking is when someone acts as if they are the ones running a game for clout or to distract players. We still don't know if that was supposed to be an official part of the Ben Drown story. Basically, there is the belief that the person who made Ben Drowned came out and said that it was not canon, but there's a belief that it just didn't go well, so he just disowned it and blamed it on Ryukaya. So I, of course, did some investigating journalism here, and the creator said that Ben Drowned would be completed in 2016. Then he got really into crypto. So we will never know how that was supposed to end. Yes. And that brings me into evaporating ARGs. This is more if this is something that you're considering to pursue creatively. With the popularity of homegrown ARGs, they often end suddenly without an ending. So have a plan when life gets in the way. I've run 2 ARGs in my life, and the second one just like ended out of nowhere because I got busy and I didn't plan for anything. Which now brings me to the ARG that I'm most upset about. What the heck happened to Camdrome? So Camdrome, it turned out was Edmund McMillan, who is the creator of Binding of Isaac. Basically, Camdrome was this bloody laptop, or bloody PC that you see here, showed up at PAX. No one was running the booth, and it stayed there until PAX closed. Like, no one came and claimed it. It would randomly show like very bloody videos and then cut back to the Camdrome logo there. And it was an ARG that was happening on Twitter for a bit and then just stopped happening. No one really knows what happened there. So I would like to invite all of you, because the way that this game started originally is a bunch of people tweeted at Camdrome, "Wake up Camdrome," and then one day it woke up. I would like to encourage all of you to tweet at Camdrome. It doesn't look like much as a Twitter account anymore. Wake up, and maybe it'll wake up and happen. Because I know Edmund McMillan has said that he'd love to return to the idea of Camdrome, but he just doesn't have the inspiration. So let's inspire him by bothering an old Twitter account that he probably doesn't check anymore. PB here. So this is a TikTok ARG about helping PB escape and survive a strange facility. So the new hot thing right now is to release your ARG on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. The way the algorithm works, your first short or your first TikTok gets pushed more, so you're actually given a very good chance of catching fire on these platforms, the way the algorithm works. So if you're thinking about launching something, consider this. But the way PB's here worked was it was a completely animated ARG, and it was about a man trapped in a facility and would take the encouragement and suggestions of those who left comments on his videos on how to escape. Here's a little bit of PB here. Nope.
Hello, so I have a lot of things to catch up on. Here I'm going to hit the cameras real quick like someone asked. All right. So I've already checked all the wall panels and I couldn't find a secret door if there is one. Here's what the look outside the window looks like. I've never seen anyone down there. I've pushed a lot of the buttons already and I couldn't find anything. I did get a suggestion to investigate this like flap here for next time. I'll upload a video later of me doing that. I think that's a good idea, but thank you for the input. So I'll catch you next time.
So PB here is completed. You can watch all of it online. Did anyone catch the clue in that video?
The keypad has sound, so it's probably a tone.
The keypad did have sounds, but there's something a little bit more to it.
The keypad had faded numbers.
It had faded numbers. The 8 and the 0 were a little bit faded, which meant they had been pressed a lot, which means they are important to the code to get out. So basically, people on TikTok were poring over these videos looking for small things like that to help PB escape. PB gets out of that room just to find that he's in an even bigger cage. It's a fantastic story. It probably takes about an hour to watch all of it. It's a fun little experience and created by one person. The Gamble. The Gamble was a rogue AI based on Elvis Presley that wanted to nuke the world on Valentine's Day. So what happened with this was the gambler wanted to play a game with a bunch of people. I was one of the players. And slowly but surely, we realized that he was using us to, like, he would ask us, like, little riddles, and then the riddles became, like, captchas. It was like, oh, we're logging into something. And then he got access to nukes. And like all AI, they're like, man, people are terrible. We should just nuke the world. And there was a camp of, let's goad him into it. Let's call his bluff. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I wrote a long message to the gambler saying, I give you a hug. And we became Team Nukes and Team Hug. And Team Hug won, and the world is saved, so you're welcome. Here's a little video of my stream where I was playing the gamble.
What the hell? That's a breach of privacy. Yeah, what gives? You'll recall that you waived your individual freedoms upon learning of the Defense Covenant. Ellipses. Good. Now it's time to observe. We have a good amount of internet users playing along. One is even streaming this. Hello to you, Noah.
So I just giggle for a while. So that was a game that, like, it actually called me out personally for streaming it online. So the wonderful thing about these ARGs is you kind of end up building relationships with the actual characters, and it's a very, like, personalized experience that I then stream to everybody. So that's what's wonderful about these games, is that they're a very unique experience to you. And at this point, you're probably thinking, these are awesome. How can I play? You can't. You see, the problem with ARGs is that they are very much a moment in time. So a lot of the ARGs I just spoke about, they don't exist anymore. They're over, they've wrapped. So the problem with an ARG is it's kind of hard to find that entry moment where this is just starting and you can play from the beginning. You can usually jump in midstream pretty easily, but it's hard to get in there on the ground floor. If you want to, I recommend the Night Mind Index run by Nick Nocturne. They basically list a bunch of different ARGs and unfiction projects as they're coming out. It's a great resource. Our ARG, you'll get a lot of evaporating ARGs on Reddit where it's just like, I have an idea, I've made a video, I'm abandoning it. So, but I have found a few good things on our ARG. ARGN or ARGnet.com. They also have a great blog where they're trying to keep tabs on all these things. And also, Phobos Season 2. This is something I got to talk to you guys about because this is something that I stream personally on my YouTube channel. Phobos is the story of a skeleton man who worked for Phobos and was trying to extract fear from you so that he could sell it on the black market or something. And he realized that the company he was working for was evil, so he tried to escape and now is working with us to take down the Justice Department, who is a League of Angels. And my current theory is God is dead. And the angels don't have, like, a boss anymore, so they're just trying to figure out what they should be doing. And they just came out with a brand new video that I have not watched, and I thought we could watch it together and maybe come up with some theories.
Timothy, there is something else.
I saw that.
Something's wrong, Joseph. People are going missing.
Come on, Timothy. Nothing happens in Temecula.
That's the Back to the Future font.
Be not afraid is what angels say.
Yes!
Is that the video? Or?
Hold on.
That's not the video, is it?
Hey there, cool cats. This is an official Justice Department announcement. As the only cosmic force capable of monitoring multiple timelines to ensure humanity's continued survival, we want to assure you with the greatest of confidence that everything is still totally radical. That's right. When you gaze upward into the night sky and ponder the face of infinity, letting your mind expand until it presses against your skull as you attempt to contemplate the coming darkness which seeks to employ vile and putrid artificial machinations of pulsating sin, remember, just chill out. Noah. You think you have it all figured out. You don't know the half of it. The one you seek to understand is the one you should have been working against from the beginning. Mamma mia, here we go again. My, how can I...
Okay. I'll leave that on screen for you guys. So there's a little fib that I told. This is not the newest episode of Phobos. I was contacted because the creators of this knew I was going to be here and sent this video directly to me as a response to me doing this panel. So on my streams, I have the theory that the videos are coming out of order, and each song has a different, or each video has a song from Mamma Mia in it. So my theory is the correct order is putting the soundtrack from Mamma Mia in the correct order, and that will give us the actual playlist. So the fact that he said, Noah, you think you have everything figured out, and then sang Mamma Mia at me is infuriating. I also wrote down the code in there. If we have time, we'll try to break that. But yeah, scan that. Check out Phobos Season 2. It is phenomenal. It is a musical with puppets and angels, and it's a lot of fun. And you can still kind of get in on the ground floor of that one. If even though it's Season 2, you can still get in on the ground floor. Highly recommend Phobos. Puzzle Trail. A puzzle trail is you are presented with a web page, and your goal is to use the information on the web page to solve it. You might need to use Google, decrypt codes, investigate audio, edit images, etc. You will need to find the answer by any means necessary. It's hard to explain, so we're going to do one of these together. All right, so this is from the Not Pron riddle. So this is, the only thing that I will tell you right here is this is level 34. So the 34 is the only thing not important right here. But if you go to level 34 of the Not Pron riddle, you see element.jpg, which is this image here. Who has thoughts about this? What do you guys see? I saw your hand first.
What's the 82nd element on the periodic table, I guess?
All right, so you see the number 82 and you want to tie that to element. That's pretty good. Any other thoughts?
Is that the Shell logo?
Yeah. It does look like the Shell logo. All right. So I'm going to ask somebody to do some Googling if you want to find out what that 82nd element is. I'll let you guys have time to Google.
Also, it looks like there's a minus sign by the 82.
It does look like there's a minus sign. So I heard somebody yell it out. Lead. All right. So you got the Shell logo, and then you got lead. Unleaded gas. You just solved a level in the Not Pron riddle. That's how these games work. Good job, team. So, real quick, here's some common codes that you'll have to have in your back pocket if you're attempting to solve everything. So this is the word code in each of these codes. So there's binary. If you see ones and zeros in sets of 8, it's probably binary. Morse code is dashes and dashes. Dots and dashes, excuse me. Braille is sets of dots, columns of 3, rows of 2, right? Yeah. Hexadecimal, if you see numbers mixed with the letters A through F, it's probably hexadecimal. A1 Z26 is basically just turning letters into numbers. So C is the third letter, so it becomes a 3. And then a shift cipher is just moving everything over 1. So this is the word code. So instead of C, it's now D. Instead of O, it's now P. So everything's shifted over 1. You can shift it over multiple numbers, of course. Hiding code. Based on what I just told you, what type of code's on screen right now? Are you sure? It's binary. It's sets of 8. So basically, the morph ball is a 0. Sam is standing up as a 1. This says hi. So let's talk about some of these puzzle trails. First, we have the Not Pron riddle. This was inspired by another website called This Is Not Porn. This Is Not Porn still exists, and you can attempt to solve it, but there's a lot of issues with it since Flash died. So I wouldn't recommend it. There's a lot of dead ends in that one. But it was created in 2004 by a German game developer named David M. We just call him David M. After 100 people solved it, the final level was removed, meaning that there would only be 100 true solvers. This happened October 29th of 2020. It took years for there to be 100 solvers of this. I'm proud to say that I did solve the Not Pron riddle. I got through all of it, but it took me a long time, and I did not get to see the last level. I was not one of the first 100 people, but I was streaming it on Twitch, where I was just like, yeah, we'll all get together, we'll work through this, we're going to solve the Not Pron riddle. And then I got to a level where all of a sudden my chat was exploding. And it was just like, hey, we need you to join this Discord. I was like, oh, all right. So I clicked this Discord, and there was a bunch of people in there, and they were like, hey, Noah's here. And a bunch of people reacted, really? He's here? There had been this group of people that have been not commenting, but watching my streams very closely. And they were like, listen, the Not Pron riddle is like very special to us. It's something that we try to maintain the integrity of. Can you please stop streaming it once you get to this level? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't want to ruin something special. So I got to that level, and I was like, all right, that's the end of the stream. And they then contacted me like, hey, we really miss watching you stream this. Could you stream it again? And I was like, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stream it on Patreon. So, like, for $1, you can join. This will kind of keep it safe. And there was a rat who got in, who was purposely just trying to get the answers so that he could make a video where he exposed all the answers to the Not Pron riddle. And the keepers of the Not Pron riddle then changed all the answers. So it was weird that I kind of played this weird role in this kind of like protection of this riddle. I find it very special, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Those keepers of the Not Pron riddle are called enigmatics. The enigmatics have their own community and own riddles that they do. They create shorter weekly puzzles that just started this week. So this week you can go to weeklies.enigmatics.org, and they have a brand new riddle every week. It's a lot shorter. It's just like 1 or 2 things. And if you solve it within a week, you get your name on the high scoreboard. It's a lot of fun, a lot of great creative people coming up with this. Also, they don't promote this enough. If you go to enigmatix.org, they also have a game called Craftle. It is basically Wordle with Minecraft. You have to figure out what thing you need to create by putting the items in, and then it tells you if it's the right item but in the wrong place. It's very cool. They also created The Trial. This Trixie Minx named Weaver created 10 painful levels called The Trial that I got through by the skin of my teeth. I think I'm one of 17 people that have ever solved The Trial. And I didn't fully solve it because there's hidden levels, and I don't have time. But I highly recommend it. It's very difficult, but it's worth playing. Do Not Believe His Lies. This was a puzzle game that was on your phone. It was a cell phone app called Do Not Believe His Lies. It had 250,000 players. 8 people allegedly solved it. We actually do not have evidence that they actually made it past the last level because most of the community was at the level before the last level. But it is believed that these 8 people solved it and then they removed it from the app store so no one could solve it. Then another creator, Ender, who is devious, recreated the game along with their own version called Do Not Believe Her Lies. You can go to donotbelieveherlies.com right now, and you can play a recreation of Do Not Believe His Lies along with Ender's version, Do Not Believe Her Lies. At time of this panel, 19 people have solved it. It's been up for a couple years now in 2019, so we're coming up on the anniversary, or we just passed the anniversary. So someone could be number 20 in this very room. Matt Pat's Theorist Gateway. It's a puzzle trail. It is not an ARG. Seriously. This is a fantastic first puzzle trail. If you've never done puzzle trails before, I highly recommend Matt Pat's Theorist Gateway because there's built-in hints. Basically, when you start playing it, a timer shows up, and it's like in 10 minutes you will unlock a hint. So basically, you could probably solve it in under 10 minutes, but if you've been stuck for 10 minutes, MatPat gives you a little nudge. It's very nice of him. Also, there's a full walkthrough of most of it on Game Theory, so if you really get stuck or if you just want to learn more about it, he'll explain all the tricks and troubles of it. The Black Watchman. This is a Steam game, so there are walkthroughs. Basically, in this one, you are a secret government agent, and you're trying to protect the world from a bunch of different online threats. I played it entirely on Twitch. It is one of the silliest games ever, because it's a lot of, like, we got to get into this building. They have the hostages. Oh no, there's a key pad that needs to be unlocked. Here's a picture of it, and also some posters that are nearby. What do you think? And it's just the idea that there's a bunch of like special ops people with machine guns standing outside of a door, emailing you. Like, we've tried like 111 and that didn't work, and now we're out of ideas. Here's a trailer for it that I just think is super funny.
Agents, get ready. A new mission starts now.
That's you at the computer. You've disabled the security. You've deactivated the firewall. You're transferring the files. Look at this information. You must now hack this website. So let's go to Google and Wikipedia. That music doesn't play the whole time, but I love the idea of it being like, all right, we got to figure this out. Wikipedia will help us. It's a very silly game. Oopsie. Roach Profits. Roach Profits, this slide's in the wrong place because I added it late. But this is a great ARG that I wanted to just bring up because I've been playing this on stream as well. It is the story of 8 cockroaches with psychic powers that channel the spirit of a deceased actress. It's really rough in terms of content, in that there's a lot of like mood whiplash. Like, it's this funny thing with these cockroaches that see the future, and then it's like, do you want a fortune? It's like, yeah, I want a fortune. You click it, and it's like, your body's full of diseases. It's like, oh, all right. Like, this is a fortune I got that just says bile. There are 8 cockroaches. They all exist as these weird purple drawings on a bathtub. There's actually a pretty good reason why, but I won't spoil it if you want to check it out. It was described as an amusement park that you get to walk around at your own pace. So basically, there's lots of things hiding on this website. You can find the story of this actress, Graham Kane, which is a tragic story amongst all these weird bugs. And I highly recommend it. I just do want to give a little bit of a content warning because it does get rough at sometimes. And I think they're local, so check them out. All right, now let's get into unfiction. The term unfiction was coined by unfiction.com. They hosted the Unforums, which was a place that most of the ARG community used to hang out before it died. They're often cryptic, but they don't require code breaking. You'll get a little bit more out of it if you spend time like breaking codes, but it's not required. The first one was Lonely Girl 15. It's believed to be the first unfiction. It was on YouTube. It's the story of a blogger who gets involved with a cult. It was a very slow burn and a new format, so a lot of people thought it was real, despite the fact that like the girl would be kidnapped and the kidnapper would look down the camera and be like, "You'd forget this." It's like, well, that's a bit of a weird thing. This again turned into publicity. It wasn't originally a commercial. It was just a piece of fiction online. But then they turned it into advertisement for the movie Jumper. Do you guys remember Jumper? They're just like randomly a video showed up where the lonely girl was reading a book called ARGs for Dummies, and the characters from Jumper like appeared. Or Viral Marketing for Dummies, I believe. Marble Hornets, of course. It's one of the most successful bits of unfiction. We talked about Slender Man. They did not create Slender Man. Slender Man was created by not the Unfiction forums, the Something Awful forums, where they tried to create their own legend. And Marble Hornets just kind of took it and ran with it. And also, they don't call him the Slender Man. He's the operator. So there are multiple well-constructed seasons, along with the spin-off movies that are not worth watching. But Marble Hornets is still the GOAT. Wait, is this an ARG? What about To the Ark? There was an element of code breaking. This video is always super loud, so I'm going to turn this down. So along with Marble Hornets, which you could just watch without To the Ark, there was another channel called To the Ark that made videos like this. So clearly that was a code of some sort that was important. But you don't need that to still enjoy Marble Hornets. This is just kind of like bonus material that you could also enjoy that would tell you a little bit about what's going on in Marble Hornets. Petscop. Petscop's another haunted video game. There's much debate on the meaning of Petscop, mostly because of MatPat, who made a video too early. And it's... Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a fantastic look at an old PS1 game that has a supernatural force in it. Many YouTubers gave up on it due to its release schedule. So what's interesting about Pets Cop is it's only 12 episodes and came out in like 4 years. It was very important that it dropped on like holidays often. So a lot of YouTubers that were like analyzing Pets Cop, eventually there's usually a video where they're like, I'm done analyzing this because it's taking too long for the next video to come out. So this is more of a note to anyone that wants to create it. Think out your structure. Also, I believe that the creator came out and said that it was tied to the subreddit. They said that they would release a video when enough shit posts were made about Pet Cop. That's probably not the best way to do it. Local 58. Yes, so this is analog horror. Basically, the past is scary. So, VHS tapes are weird, so now they're very scary. It's brought about by things like the Mandela Catalog, the Walden Files. These are all analog horror because they use old technology to tell their stories. Now, the creator of Local 58 claims that the next chapter of Local 58 has been released and no one has found it. They said this like a year ago. Here's a little taste of Local 58 if you've never seen it. Yeah, so that's just a little taste. What I love about Local 58 is like no actors, just editing. Like one guy made this. Like probably didn't even take that long. It's a lot of just basic things. I love Local 58. That's just a taste. There's animations in other ones. It's basically supposed to be a local television station. Some content warning for that one as well. There's some talk of unaliving yourself in it, so watch with caution. Some other great projects. I'm just going to go through these pretty quick because this is a gaming convention and this is more about just watching stuff. Hey! So, Hi, I'm Mary. Mary is the story of a woman who wakes up in an exact copy of her house and is locked in, and there's a bunch of monsters. Mary never reveals her face in the whole thing because she's behind the camera, so if you're shy. Same thing can be said about Daisy Brown. Daisy Brown is the story of a creature that her father kept alive in the basement, and now she is taking care of it. His name's Alan, I think. Lots of great puppetry. A lot of ARGs have great puppets. That's just a thing that I've noticed. I Am Sophie is probably one of the most high-budget pieces of unfiction I've ever seen. The creator had to end it early because he didn't have the money to create the vision that he wanted. But it is a great story about influencer, I can't talk, I've been talking all day, culture, and being like a famous TikToker and things like that. Very good. Sleepwalk Diaries also does not get enough love. It is the story of a man who sleepwalks, and one of the ways that they wanted to deal with it is they had him sleep with a camera on his neck. So now we know what he does when he sleepwalks. And so it's just like him wandering the streets, meeting other sleepwalkers, and like having interactions. That one has some wild twists that I really enjoy. So Sleepwalk Diaries, again, it's another one of the smaller ones that I don't think it's enough love. Tips for watching. So a lot of people, there's some basic skills that most ARGs and unfictions assume you have, and you might not. So here's some quick things. If you're watching a video on YouTube and you use the comma and period keys, you will advance one frame. And as we saw in the Phobos video, there was clearly a website that existed for one frame that we needed to look at. So the best way to do that is to just kind of tap through that. If you use the arrow keys, it jumps 5 seconds, and that's not as helpful. Watch with subtitles. This was really big for, I believe, Daisy Brown, is the subtitles would be very different from what's actually being said, or actually have another character talking and kind of like insulting what is happening. So always put the subtitles on. Check the description. There's usually something hiding in there. Videos may need to be brightened, darkened, sped up, or slowed down. You can actually speed up or slow down videos with the YouTube player without downloading it. If you want to download a video, I recommend streamable.com. Also, I didn't include this one. For some reason, there's a way that you can kind of light something that you can dim your screen if you stand up, if you're using a laptop and you look at it at a different angle. So there's a lot of times where I'm watching an ARG or a nonfiction and I'm standing like this, just getting a different angle on things. Wrong way. Tips for creating. If you want to create something, try to launch creatively. If you just post on ARG subreddits, you're probably not going to get anywhere. I launched an ARG years ago, and I did it through another video game. There was a bunch of people who I knew were into ARGs playing Kingdom of Loathing. Remember Kingdom of Loathing? So I made a character, infiltrated their like guild, and then just one day started freaking out and just like saying, "We need help!" And everybody's just kind of followed that way. A creative launch is so good. Be careful with your identity. During that same ARG, I had some sort of weird problem where I ended up emailing myself one of the codes so that one of the characters in my ARG could send it later. And when I did that, my email address got attached to it. So people then found my actual email address, and then all the messages coming to actual me started coming in. I had to be like, no, don't do that. Luckily, the way I had structured it was I had a character who was kind of like an overseer that brought everybody in. Like their character was, I see this problem, I need you to help. So I could have that character be like, this is unrelated. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Complete as much as possible ahead of time. It's tough because you don't know what players are going to do. But when I wrote my ARG, I had like a big branching tree of like, these are the main events. If this happens, we go here. If this happens, this goes here. For the most part, we stayed on the tree. If you're going to have codes, make sure they exist for a logical reason. There's nothing worse than an ARG that's like, there's a password to this, you'll never figure it out. Binary on screen. It's like, well, I think we're going to figure that out. So if something is encoded, have there be a reason for someone to encode it. A lot of the Phobos ARG is communication through another language. So the idea is it's not encoded, that's how they talk. We've just been able to figure out how to decode it. Plan your release schedule. Don't be like Pets Cop and anger everybody. And plan for life to get in the way. It's always good when you can have a plot reason why uploads have stopped. Phobos does a good job with this where like it seems like every time there's a holiday, a video will come out that just says commercial break. And it'll have like little things for us to do, but it's not like plot based. All right, it is now time for the challenge. I've put stuff throughout this presentation. Who thinks that they solved it? I think I saw the hand here first, then here, and then back. So I'll give you the first try.
Konami code.
Incorrect.
I realize what. So I don't know what the character is, so I'm doing this with a hand time behind the back. Is it Code Bank?
No, it is not. I see the hands have gone down over here, and I've broken this microphone.
I was going to say Konami code, and he did as well. I have another try.
Oh, wait a minute. I already gave you a try, and a very excited hand just went up.
Is it
Konami code?
Oh my god.
I will say you guys are close, but you're missing a very key element. Anyone else want to try before I give it back over here? All right, in the back.
The Konami code backward.
Which is?
I can't remember. It's like start, select, B, A, then it's down, left, right.
No, that's not it. That's not it. I'm going to give it to the guy in the hat.
If it's counting it backwards, then it's down, left, B, A, left, right. So it's start, select, A, B, left, right, left, down, up.
That's a little jumbled. That's a little jumbled. Yes.
Start, A, B, right, left. No. Up, down, right, left.
Give that man a prize, please. So just to explain it, here were all the characters that I snuck in that were hanging out in the corner. That will give you this, which is Konami code backwards. So when you saw the Nintendo controller there, I wanted you to input the Konami code backwards. These are the types of tricks that ARGs like to pull. So any questions before we get out of here? I think we got 5 minutes. So is there anything anybody wants to talk about before we get going? Yes, that's on the next slide. +2 Comedy on Twitch. So you can join me. I usually stream on Mondays for ARGs. I do Puzzle Trails usually on Fridays. And then I do one on Patreon on Tuesdays. And then +2 Comedy Gaming on YouTube is where I upload all of the streams. So if you want to catch up, if you want to experience Phobos and the Gambler and Roach Profits through my eyes, you can see all of that on +2 Comedy Gaming. Question here.
Did you play or stream Inscription?
Yes, I did. I played all of Inscription. I completely missed the ARG. Like, it was one of those things where I played through all of it and I was like, I think I was pretty thorough. So I think I got most of the stuff. And then I saw like an analysis video and I was like, let's just watch this and see what I missed. I was like, oh, I've missed everything. So if nothing else, I now know that when a game by that developer comes out, I need to play it immediately.
And you need to play games made by that.
Yeah, and play every game he's ever made ever. All the way in the back, dressed as a raccoon?
Did you play Secret World, the MMO?
Secret World? No, I'm unfamiliar with Secret World.
It's kind of like World of Darkness, but like the MMO version. It has tons of little ARGs built into it.
Oh.
You have to use an internal fake internet system.
Oh, I like that idea. Because I know that there was a really bad ARG in PlayStation Home. Because they were trying to make that something. All right, I will check that one out. I will add it to the list. Yes, in the plaid.
Have you played Tunic?
Tunic has been, I think, gifted to me, and I have not played it yet.
Heavy recommend.
It's something that I really want to do. It's very interesting. Some people say that I should definitely stream it, and some other people say that it's a very personal experience that should not be streamed. So if I stream it, I'll definitely play it. So I'll probably end up streaming it. Yes, with the pink hair.
Do you know about Inscription?
Yes, we just talked about Inscription. That's okay. Up front.
I got here late, but did you talk about Ingress by Niantic at all?
Oh, no, I didn't talk about Ingress at all. That's more of augmented reality. Yes, I played Ingress for a while, and what was I? was Resistance or whatever. And my local team was really aggressive. So I was just like, hey, I just hit these spots. If you don't know, Ingress was about going to places and activating nodes so this other team couldn't have it. And I was just like, hey guys, I'm new to the game. I just wanted you guys to know I'm here and I did this. And the response back was, do not use this channel. You have to use the Slack. I was like, oh, No? It's like, but the other team is reading this. We're in trouble now. I was like, okay, this game is over. Never playing another Niantic game again. Do you still play?
Yeah. I have a question about the lore. They do a lot of that as like an ARG side of the game.
Right.
Do you think that's like a good use of it?
I think it's interesting. I remember watching like the videos of the two sisters that were on opposite teams that would play against each other. I think it's always good with ARGs, especially if it's tied to another game, that your game is good without it, and it's just kind of like extra content.
Yeah.
Do I have time for more? No, I don't. That's going to be it. So once again, check out Phobos Season 2 by Time Industries. You can also check out the Enigmatics at enigmatics.org, and also that Night Mind Index. I saw a couple people, or heard a couple people cheer when I brought up Nick Nocturne. Look for me in the Candy Bowl. I was in the Candy Bowl this year.
Really?
Yeah. I've been in 3 of the Candy Bowls and 1 of the Halloween hangovers. So yeah, look for me. It's fun. Thanks, guys.